half in the bag. Ain't nothing funnier than a good old-fashioned poop joke. I love coffee with a little splash of Baileys.
There's no coffee in there. I just said that.
Well, Jay, it's getting on in the year. The year's almost over. There's only one more movie to look forward to.
What's that?
The Hunger Games, Part 4, Mockingjay Part 2.
Oh, of course.
Oh, and, I don't know, I guess that's Star Wars things coming out.
Oh, are they still doing those?
Yeah, they're still making them. Yeah, so have you seen any other films this year? I'm sure you have.
I've seen plenty of films. One I saw just came out. It came out the same weekend as Everest. And it's called The Green Inferno from critical darling Eli Roth.
He made such hit films as Cabin Fever.
He did Cabin Fever.
And what else?
He did Hostel and Hostel 2. And then he didn't make any movies for a few years. But now he's back with a movie he shot 2 years ago that got caught up in legal trouble and is just now released. The same year as another movie that he has coming out, I guess.
And what is The Green Inferno? It's about people in the Amazon jungle.
It's a throwback Amazon cannibal movie, and it's the funniest movie of the year, except for the parts where it's trying to actually be funny, which is horribly embarrassing and falls flat.
And why was the film so bad? Is it like bad in a like trauma kind of way? Or
no, it's not. I mean, there are parts that are trying to be funny. You've seen Cabin Fever.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't like. Yeah, a lot of people don't like Eli Roth. I aside from writing sort of like douchebag characters, I like Cabin Fever because it's so weird. And this movie's similar, but the weirdness feels inappropriate because it's trying to be this sort of like gritty. It's a throwback to movies like, and it's interesting because it's released through Blumhouse, because every horror movie is released through Blumhouse. So it's like I'm picturing people that want to go see. Let's go see a scary movie.
They should change their company name to Outhouse.
But yeah, they put out, Insidious, Sinister, so I'm picturing people like, oh, let's go see a new scary movie. And then they go to this, and it's the most extreme, grotesque, disgusting thing I've seen get a wide release in forever. Like, I can't even think of the last time I saw a movie like this where people were walking out in anger.
Really?
It really upset people because the first big cannibal scene is genuinely upsetting. Like, I mean, I've seen everything, so it wasn't that graphic for me, but for a mainstream audience, like, it's not jump scares. It's just more of like a visceral, grotesque reaction. And that first scene is really well handled, where they take one of the activists, they throw him on this rock. So they scoop out his eyeballs and they eat them. And then they cut off his tongue and they eat his tongue. This is all shown in graphic detail. And then they cut off each limb one by one. And then they cook him. And then they cut off his skin and they show all the little villagers eating it. Meanwhile, our activists are kept in a little cage, and they're looking on like, oh my God. And then one of the activists says, oh, I feel sick. Like, not like I'm gonna vomit, but like stomach sick because they're in the Amazon. And then she starts having diarrhea with comical fart sound effects. And all of the other activists are like, oh my God, like they're more disgusted by that. And I was like, what are you doing? And that's when the movie fell off the rails and turned to complete schlock, because it's tonally a mess.
Well, what's wrong with that? I mean, that sounds amazing.
I know it is. I was thoroughly entertained for the movie, but mainly because that's like this genuinely horrific sequence that worked really well. And I was like, oh, that's what the movie's gonna be. Like, this will be like a nightmare in an interesting way. And then it's immediately followed up with like dumb fart jokes. And you're like, what? And then the rest of the movie is kind of like that, where there's like just complete tonal inconsistencies, dumb character decisions.
But you were entertained.
But I was thoroughly entertained, and in a way where it almost feels like because this was released, got such a wide release, and there hasn't been movies like this, in forever, getting seen by a general audience, where it almost feels subversive, where it's like, I was looking around in the theater and seeing people like genuinely horrified, which made it more entertaining to me.
Well, that's good.
It's kind of a piece of crap, but it's paying homage to movies that were already pieces of crap. But it was playing next to a walk in the woods,
So it's got a little grindhousey kind of throwback.
Yeah, and not in a way like there's not like dumb, like I hate all these grindhouse homage movies. They put the bad grain filter on it.
And titles.
This is where almost like I think Eli Roth thought he was doing a Tarantino thing where he takes these exploitation elements and sort of elevates them, but all he was doing was making something just as dumb and bad as those, which worked for me.
Well, other films that we've seen this year. Have we talked about Ex Machina at all?
I don't think we touched on it at all, but we both saw Ex Machina.
Of course, of course. It was excellent.
It was excellent.
Well, excellent.
Over the next few days, you're going to be the human component in the Turing test.
One day the AIs are going to look back on us the same way we look at fossils.
Hello.
Well, I appreciated the simplicity of it. And I think all the movies that I saw this year that I really liked kind of have that in common, like simple, concise storytelling. And Ex Machina, because like I've said before, like I have a problem with AI movies where it's like no matter how hard they want me to care, I still see just a robot. And this movie, especially towards the end, without giving anything away, it sort of subverts that in an interesting way that made it a much more complex and interesting movie to me.
Plus, Poe Dameron does a great job.
Who?
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac?
Yeah.
Is that his character's name in Star Wars? Poe Dameron?
Something like that.
I don't know these things.
Oscar Isaac is amazing in it.
He's great in it, yeah.
There's a nice switch of his character from, no spoilers.
Yeah.
Solid movie. It's a 70s movie, plucked right out of the 1970s.
Not in terms of style, but just as far as like intelligent sci-fi goes.
And well, style too. I mean,
Maybe a little bit, but I
definitely
think
the intelligence and the slow moving, but like really nothing visually exciting happens ever. It's all guttural character and atmosphere.
A great scene where Oscar Isaac dances.
Yes, the best scene in the film.
And yeah, it really, I think aside from, well, not even aside from, I think with Mad Max, it's right up there as far as the best movies of the year goes.
Yep.
Can we talk about the lies you've been spinning me?
What lies? What lies?
You have to help me. You have to help me. What will happen to me if I fail your test?
Yep. That and another film I saw called The Lazarus Effect.
Is that a movie?
Yeah. I'd like to talk about that briefly. It starred Olivia Wilde. I was going to say Oscar Wilde. I was combining
Oscar Isaac and Olivia Wilde.
Yeah, they're both, their father is Oscar Wilde, the author. Olivia Wilde, and it had, it had some other noteworthy actors in it, but it was just the biggest pile of shit I could ever.
Was it released in theaters?
I think it had a small release in theaters.
Okay.
I saw it in the Redbox. The Redbox pooped it out. It came out
does Redbox generate movies now? Where it's like in the machine itself, it just like and it plugs in all these shitty elements and out comes a movie?
There's a lot of movies that are made overseas that have American actors in them.
Oh,
because
sure. I think that's almost all Nicolas Cage does anymore.
Yeah, and they're made in foreign countries, and they scrape up like Nicolas Cage or Sigourney Weaver or Al Pacino. People they're still big stars, but they're not big stars. And then they put it in the Redbox, and everyone's like, "What's this? I never heard of this." They shoot it in a week in between real movies. But I don't know anything about the Lazarus Effect other than it was the biggest pile of horse crap I've ever seen.
You have no idea what you've done. But you will.
Well, Mike, I saw a documentary film called Call Me Lucky, directed by Bobcat Goldthwait, who the last couple movies he's done have been crap, but I still think he's an interesting filmmaker because everything he does is so drastically different.
World's Greatest Dad was not crap.
World's Greatest Dad is great. That's one of the funniest movies of the last 10 years, but the two movies he did after that, he did Willow Creek, the Blair Witch movie with Bigfoot in it, and then before that, he did God Bless America, which was just completely flatline attempt at satire. But World's Greatest Dad is amazing. And I think Bobcat Goldthwait's an interesting person. So he made this documentary about a stand-up comedian named Barry Crimmins, who is very well loved, very well respected in the stand-up comedy world. Big back in the 80s, the kind of heyday of stand-up comedy. Not really well known now, I wasn't familiar with him at all. So there's all these comedians talking about how well respected he is in the world of stand-up comedy, and so I was thinking I didn't know anything about it going into it. I thought it was just, oh, here's this guy. But without giving anything away, the second half takes a drastic turn as far as revelations about his childhood, his past, his life, and where his life goes after being a stand-up comedian as a result of things that happened to him as a child. And
drastic turn like Bill Cosby drastic turn?
No. He's not anything where he turns out to be a monster, but in a way where it ends up turning into one of the most like gripping and heart-wrenching movies I've seen in a long time.
Oh,
so without giving anything away, because
Yeah.
it's worth checking out.
And what's it called?
It's called Call Me Lucky.
Well, that's lucky you saw it then.
Why do you say that? I mean, it was good. Is that what you... So, Mike, what else did you see?
Well, I think you also saw it, but I saw, speaking of documentaries, I saw a faux documentary called What We Do in the Shadows.
No, I haven't seen that.
What?
I know, everyone keeps saying I gotta see it.
It's pretty good. It stars one of the guys from Flight of the Conchords.
Which I've never seen Flight of the Conchords.
Flight of the Conchords is funny, yeah.
I don't see funny things, apparently.
Flight of the Conchords has forever ruined the New Zealand accent for me in a serious setting.
Okay.
So I was laughing this entire time we watched Everest.
Oh, yeah.
Because they all have the New Zealand accents. So if you watch Flight of the Conchords, they speak funny. But it's
Jermaine Clement is his name, by the way.
Jermaine Clement. Yeah, Jermaine.
Is it the same?
We got to go to work, Jermaine.
It's not just him being in it, like it's the same team, right?
No, the other guy is not in it.
Oh, okay.
He has
But I
nothing
mean,
to
like
do-
behind the scenes, isn't it?
Yeah, the guy who plays their manager, their band manager in Flight of the Conchords is also in it. I'm assuming it's a lot of the same production people because it was shot in New Zealand, but it's a fake documentary about vampires.
When you get 3 vampires in a flat, obviously there's going to be a lot of tension.
Viago was an 18th century dandy.
A ghost cop. Vladislav is a bit of a pervert.
This is my torture chamber.
Deacon's like the young bad boy of the group. I'm supposed to pay rent, but I don't.
The trouble with being a vampire is you have to be invited in.
Come in to the bar, please. It's walking.
Will you invite us in?
We need some fresh blood.
So, and I think it's mostly improvised. So there's a lot of funny moments. It's not like the most brilliant thing ever, and there's some parts where the improvisation feels a little weak, but it's a good movie. It's really funny. And I'm surprised you didn't see it.
I haven't seen it. I haven't gotten around to it. Everyone tells me to see it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out.
What's the? I know it's like a fake documentary about vampires, but what's the plot of it?
It's really like these guys come to document vampires, and there's a very old one. There's one like a classic Nosferatu-looking one that lives in the basement.
Okay.
Just doesn't come out of his coffin. There's Jermaine Clement's characters like from like the 1800s, and then there's a brand new vampire who becomes a vampire during the process. So it's sort of like a day in the life or a day-to-day kind of thing.
I'm assuming there's like different eras of vampires.
There's different eras of vampires, and they all decide to go out in the town, and it's sort of like vampires are an accepted thing, and it's just a simple little premise and they built up jokes around it. Have you seen any other films this year?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Well, I saw another documentary called Lost Soul, long title, something, the horrible journey, something of Richard Stanley. And it's about, did you ever see the 90s Island of Dr. Moreau movie? With Marlon Brando?
No.
In a remote laboratory, an exiled scientist created something impossible. Unmistakably human. Undeniably animal. On the island of Dr. Moreau.
the inspiration for Mini-Me, where Marlon Brando has this little monster sidekick character. I've never seen that movie either, but I was interested in this documentary because I'm interested in documentaries about movies that didn't happen. Like I talked about last year, Jodorowsky's Dune. There's been a lot of those lately. And this one is about this director, Richard Stanley, who is sort of an up-and-coming director. He did a movie called Hardware, which I don't like, and then he did a movie called Dust Devil, which I haven't seen. But they're sort of, independent movies, and he got involved with the studio system. Making Island of Dr. Moreau was like his ambition, his life's ambition. So he gets involved, things go wrong, the studio fires him right into the beginning of shooting. They bring in John Frankenheimer. So it's just about all this like unraveling and like how nobody sets out to make a bad movie, but there are all these different, too many cooks in the kitchen type of thing. The interesting thing is that the documentary actually gets way more interesting after Richard Stanley is fired and has nothing to do with the story. Because that's when Marlon Brando becomes a crazy person and makes all these weird demands. Richard Stanley starts living in the woods. Like he didn't just leave, I can't remember where they were filming it, but he just started living in the woods. And at one point, crew members that were still working on the movie found him out there. And they're like, come back to the set. So he got onto the set by wearing one of the monster costumes and was just like checking it out. And Val Kilmer's ego was out of control, and just all these stories about like this complete disaster of a shoot that gets even worse after Richard Stanley left the project.
From director John Frankenheimer. Directed by John Frankenheimer. John Frankenheimer.
So even though Richard Stanley's name is in the title of the film, the most interesting parts of it are after he has left the project.
Would you call it a modern day Hearts of Darkness?
Nothing is as bad as Hearts of Darkness as far as a shoot goes, except for maybe Fitzcarraldo.
Well, Hearts of Darkness wasn't a shoot. That's a documentary about Apocalypse Now.
I understand that.
Get your facts straight.
You know what? It's not comparable to that because Apocalypse Now is a great movie, and by all accounts, Island of Dr. Moreau is like a disaster.
But there is one connecting factor between both films.
Oh yeah, the little midget guys in both.
The little midget guys in both films. Yes, you're right.
Knowing that the odds were stacked against me, I resorted to witchcraft.
I've often wondered what happened to Richard Stanley.
Oh, I know we both saw Maggie.
Oh yeah, Maggie. I've already forgotten most of Maggie.
I
thought it was okay, but I don't remember most of it.
I remember you telling me Schwarzenegger did a great job in it. It's like, no.
Oh, you didn't? I thought he was.
This sucks.
I thought he was used appropriately, or they're like, this guy's not a good actor, so we'll give him very few lines and let him just like his face do the talking.
Yeah, but that didn't even work.
Oh, see, I thought he was good.
He was okay, but like, he doesn't know how to facially act. His acting is kicking doors open. So I didn't like Schwarzenegger in that, but the little girl was good. Maggie's about a father on a farm in a zombie apocalypse, and his little daughter has the plague,
yes,
the zombiness, and it's slowly gonna happen.
Right. And they generally, isn't it like they turn the people that are going to turn into zombies, they turn them over to the military
government.
Or something?
Yeah, they send them to like some kind of camp. It was this quarantine, I think they call it in the film, and which basically is like some kind of horrific nightmare where they eat each other and they just get put in a big pen.
Yeah.
It's some sort of terrible thing. So he's trying to keep his daughter from that happening to her, and then the movie ends.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically a metaphor for
letting
coming
go.
to terms with a person, and that's a loved one that has some sort of disease.
Yeah, it's a nice. Yes, it's a disease. Yeah, learning to let go.
Yeah, it's more of a drama than a horror film. And I don't know.
But oh boy, is it depressing.
Yeah, not a lot happens in it. I thought it was kind of dull for the most part. But I liked Schwarzenegger in it. I think it's more like, it's almost like the Stallone thing. Like now that they're old, they just like, you look at their face and you see all this history on their face. And so seeing him try to act sad, I think I don't know. For me, it informed that character more than just a generic actor in that part. I think you saw this movie as well, but I saw Welcome to Me, starring Kristen Wiig. Have you seen this film?
I have, and I rather enjoyed it.
I liked it a lot too. I think it's a really solid comedy premise, which for anyone that isn't familiar with this movie, she is, what is her issue? She's mentally unstable.
Yeah.
But Kristen Wiig's character is mentally unstable, to say the least, and she wins the lottery, and she uses her newfound money to create her own television show and pay a company to produce her show. So it's a person with mental problems with their own talk show. It's funny, but it's not like wacky funny. Like there's a week, like, because she has a history, she used to be a veterinarian, so there's like a montage of a week's worth of episodes where every day she's just neutering dogs.
Yeah, the company is run by James Marsden, I believe, and who else?
Joan Cusack.
Yeah. And they're selling like weight loss pills, or it's some sort of like infomercial.
One of those cheapo infomercials.
Yeah, and they have their own network or their own TV station.
Yeah. And
she comes in and starts flashing money around. They're like, okay, the diet pills, we're not selling them very well, if that's what it is. It's something like that. Yeah. But and they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, is this ethically correct to let a crazy person run their show just because she's giving her money? And they're like,
but they need the monies.
Yeah, and so there's that conflict there, but at first it was like annoying. The first act of the movie was annoying to me, and then it started getting really weird, and then it started becoming really fun.
Yeah, well, she just has all these like bizarre ideas and bizarre like requests for things she wants. And everyone is just like letting her have it because she's giving the money. I just thought it was like a solid premise for a weird comedy.
Oh, and I want to come in on a swan boat.
You're off your meds, you're living in a reservation casino, and you're hosting your own talk show.
It's a new era, $86 million Alice.
We go live in 5, 4, 3.
What is she doing? No, I think she's a little frozen.
You're on TV now.
Anyway, she has a therapist, and then, very interesting character. And it's not like goofy funny. It's not like the hints of UHF in there a little. Like,
oh, sure.
but not like that's a polar opposite.
Well, that's like a goofy
spectrum.
Zucker Brothers type comedy, but as far as like someone who shouldn't be running a television station,
it's more like
here's the content they're producing.
A very strange, awkward humor.
Yeah, and I like that Kristen Wiig, like Bridesmaids was like a huge movie, and she could have gone the Melissa McCarthy route and just done all these big, broad comedies, and she's kind of went the other way, and she's done all these little interesting.
She's done a lot of smaller films, smaller dramatic roles, and now she's in The Martian too.
And welcome to me. Welcome to me. Welcome to me. Me. And welcome to me.
Well, we both saw Welcome to Me. I would recommend that. What else? Have you seen anything you disliked? Horribly.
I saw The Cobbler.
Oh my God, Adam Sandler in the house. On the mountain.
This is one I saw completely just out of morbid curiosity, which is always a bad idea. I just saw the Poltergeist remake for the same reason.
I saw that in the theater.
Oh my God.
That is a funny film.
We'll get to the Poltergeist remake, but I saw The Cobbler because it was on Netflix. I was like, all right, people are saying this is the worst thing ever. I've seen Adam Sandler movies. I know what the worst thing ever is. This can't be that bad because this is made by a real filmmaker. The guy who did The Station Agent with Peter Dinklage, which is a great little movie, and he did The Visit with Richard Jenkins. So it's like, oh, this guy's made some interesting, character-driven dramas. The Cobbler is one of the worst Adam Sandler movies I've ever seen. It's unbelievable. It's so wrong-headed. It's so like, what were they thinking kind of premise? Or do you even know what the premise of the movie is?
He makes shoes.
He's a cobbler in New York. And he finds it was his dad's business, and now it's his business, and he finds this magical cobbler machine in the basement of the store that when he repairs somebody's shoes on it and he puts on those shoes, he turns into that person.
Like spiritually or physically?
Physically. So like if he's wearing the shoes to other people, he looks like whoever the owner of the shoes is.
Okay.
So he uses that to, there's a guy that always comes into his store who has this beautiful wife, and that guy drops off his shoes, so Adam Sandler cobbles his shoes so he looks like the husband. and then goes into their house while the woman is taking a shower and is ready to have sex with her, which is basically rape. Not basically, like...
Oh, they do have sex? Or
no, the only thing preventing him from doing so is the fact that he would have to take off his shoes to get into the shower. So if it wasn't for that, our hero would have raped a woman. And yeah, so that happens. There's a twist at the end of the movie that is the dumbest thing possible, which I'm going to spoil, because why not? The whole thing is like, oh, my dad left, so I don't know what, he just abandoned me when I was a kid. That's Adam Sandler's character. And through the whole movie, the next door neighbor, the guy who runs the barber shop next door, is Steve Buscemi. And that's like his friend, Steve Buscemi. That's who he confides in. Turns out, Steve Buscemi is his dad, who's been wearing the cobbler boots for decades.
That makes me want to kill myself.
It's the worst thing. It's almost worth seeing just for how awful it is. It's almost mind-bogglingly bad.
Wow. Well, mind-bogglingly bad and Adam Sandler's often paired together in sentences. So.
I would say no. Most of his movies are just bad, where they're just so like dumb and crass. This one is fascinatingly bad.
Okay.
Well, it feels like it could be one of those, like, you know, to walk a mile in someone else's shoes, like some sort of morality thing, but that it's not. It's just Adam Sandler wearing other people's shoes and doing goofy things. And oh, the other thing he does is, because he lives with his mom, and mom's like, oh, I miss my husband. If I could only see him for one more day. So Adam Sandler puts on his dad's shoes and has a nice romantic evening with his mom.
Holy fuck, that's weird. But his dad was still alive.
But his dad was still alive, and he was disguised as Steve Buscemi next door at the barber shop the entire time.
Why wouldn't his dad, was he trying to escape from his mother?
No, there was some sort of explanation. I don't know. I was too, like, flabbergasted to pay attention to the exposition at that point. But
Why would you want to be Steve Buscemi?
Hey, mister, you okay? Don't eat me! Please, don't eat me!
I'm not gonna eat you!
Well, I'm going to do this next one real fast. Just recently, I saw Black Mass, starring Johnny Depp.
Oh, you saw that?
And Friends. A solid film.
Okay.
A solid gangster movie. It's no Goodfellas. Nothing will ever be. But it's good.
In the beginning, Jim was a small-town player. He's a very smart, disciplined man.
Take your shot, but make it your best, because I get up, I eat you.
He's a low-time gangster and he becomes big-time, but he's an informant for the FBI for years and years and years because his buddy's in the FBI. It's this whole criminal ring. There's a bunch of murders and backstabbing and some gruesome scenes, some really good performances. A little unfocused on the storyline, you know, but.
How is Johnny Depp in it? Because he hasn't given a real performance in forever.
He's good. Okay. He's really good. The only thing is that for some reason he had to look like the guy in real life. So he has like a bald cap on and like Dr. Evil blue eyes, like contact lenses that are really obviously blue contact lenses.
Okay.
So it's very distracting.
He's unrecognizable. I had a scene with him where his face is inches from mine, and there is no sense of another person being behind those eyes, that hair, those teeth, those scars. He's amazing.
Does he have to look exactly like him?
Doing the transformation thing is more distracting than if he just played
If he was just himself, yeah. Because I'm sitting there looking at his hairline and his bald cap, and I'm like, there's the makeup scene, oh, there's the eyes on, oh yeah, the movie's on.
It's wild. It's so wild that you sort of forget what Johnny Depp looks like.
But, you know, if you could look past that, it was a little distracting, but other than that, it was a good film. I mean, it was a good watch.
Oh, till it's gone. Oh, till it's gone.
Can we talk about the Poltergeist remake? This is the epitome of pointless remake. It brings nothing new to it. It does nothing interesting.
It brings a lot of humor to a humorless movie.
I don't know, what, like unintentional humor?
It's a very good Sam Rockwell comedy.
Well, Sam Rockwell elevates anything.
He's hysterical in it. He's like this irritated father who just wants to get a job, but he's burdened by poltergeists.
That's true, yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to the store with my credit card and I'm buying a bunch. Fuck this poltergeist again. And at the end, he's like, let's go already, come on.
Well, I noticed, like, 'cause Sam Rockwell is a great actor, and he does fine with the material up until, like, the CG takes over, and then he looks like he's lost in the woods. It's not even built on an Indian burial ground. So
No.
at the end, it's not like, oh, we're safe, we think it's over.
I guess that would
and
be
then,
racist. I don't know.
Well, no, they mention it. They make a joke about it early on in the movie. They're like, at least it's not built on an Indian burial ground.
What did cause it to be haunted? I forget.
It just is.
Oh.
And then
the scene in the original Poltergeist where the older daughter ends up in the muddy swimming pool and like the skeletons coming
the
at her.
skeletons, which were real skeletons, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. But.
Yeah, I did. But that was replaced by her going into the garage and a hand coming out of the concrete.
There's like sludge and the hand came out. But that whole thing is like, they rescue in the original, they rescue Carol Ann, and then they're like, oh, we're safe. And then it's revealed, like, all the skeletons start popping up and shit goes crazy again.
I couldn't tell you the original plot. I know Zelda Rubinstein was in it. And
she should have been in this. I know she's dead, but...
She was replaced by the actor from Mad Men.
British man.
Yeah.
When you need a British man, you call this guy.
He plays a great character named Lane on Mad Men.
Okay.
He's a good actor, but... yeah,
well, I was waiting in this because they do the, he's a phony, like, ghost hunter show, not talk show. He's a phony ghost hunter show, like, investigator guy. So I was waiting, and then they say, we got to get this guy. And then he shows up, and it's like, okay, they're going to do that thing where he reveals he's a phony, but they don't do that, and he just sort of helps them. It would have been cliche, but at least it would have been something.
Yeah.
As opposed to nothing.
Yeah. The idea that their ghosts are real and they are revealed as being real in the film, and Sam Rockwell is just annoyed, is to me the most endearing and watchable part of the film. If I were to give a positive, the look of the spirit universe was cool.
I guess it was all.
Although I wouldn't have wanted to see it because they don't show it in the first one; they just fall out of the ceiling.
That's something I wanted to mention is like more is not always better.
Right.
And this is like it's not enough that you have the little girl talking to the static on the TV, which this is a new movie and they're HD TVs. You don't get static, but they just brush over that.
They did a little mixture between.
It was like glitch / static, but whatever. It was annoying, but it's like not enough that she's just talking to us. We don't hear anything, we don't see anything, but you have to have these hands come onto the screen. And like there's a part when the middle child is like carrying a box of comic books up the stairs and he gets distracted, so he sets them down and he looks into a room and he turns around, he looks back, and all the comic books are stacked up like a stack of playing cards. And it's not enough, like in the first movie I remember there's a part where all the chairs are stacked up. Yeah. And she looks and they're just there. And there's no music, and here it was like like this musical sting, and it's like the camera pulls back, and it's like, that's not scary.
Do you remember remakes? Poltergeist.
When are they going to remake the Poltergeist remake?
Are they even, remakes are so bad that they're not even giving sequels to remakes.
No, these are all attempts to like start a new franchise, but they all flop. No new Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, actually, no.
They're remaking.
There is a new Nightmare on Elm Street, but it's not going to be a sequel to the remake. It's just another new remake.
Something's wrong, Mom.
A film I rather enjoyed was a film called The Overnight, which you still have yet to see.
Oh, with Piper.
Yes, Piper Chapman from Orange is the New Black, and also
Jason Schwartzman, right?
Jason Schwartzman's in it, and Adam Scott is also in it. And by the way, Adam Scott is in Black Mass.
Oh, really?
As an FBI agent with the big 70s mustache.
Oh my God, I don't think I could take that seriously.
I know, he does not really add much to the movie. He has a couple of lines. He's like kind of stock FBI guy in the background. And I can't take him seriously. But The Overnight is a really interesting movie. Adam Scott and God, what's her name? It's not Piper Chapman. That's her character.
Just call her Piper Chapman. It's fine.
Adam Scott and Piper Chapman. This woman has a name, and I'm sorry we can't remember it right now. They move to LA and they meet Jason Schwartzman and his wife, or they meet Jason Schwartzman in a park, and he's like, "Come on over, you know, it's good to meet people in the neighborhood." And then it becomes a very, very weird evening, and as you see from the trailer, and they kind of bill it, or they kind of advertise it as sort of like a Hangover kind of comedy, where it's like, whoa, weird things are happening now, weird things are happening. But it takes a very, very sharp turn at the end. It becomes very sobering and mature. And it's not what I expected.
In a good way, right?
In a good way.
Okay.
And it becomes almost uncomfortable, but it becomes, you're laughing at all the weird things that happen. Not laughing, but it's almost like, you know, that's kind of weird and strange. And then it takes a very mature tone at the end in a satisfying way. So it's very different in that regard. It's not The Hangover. So I really liked it. And the poster's very clever. You'll get the poster after you've seen the movie.
Well, here's the poster. I don't get it.
It's just a friend's kiss.
It's just a friend's kiss.
Mm-hmm. Just a friend's kiss.
It's just a friend's kiss.
Yeah.
Now, if you've seen the movie The Overnight, I'm going to segue that into another movie that I saw recently, which has a similar topic, Boulevard, the final dramatic performance from Robin Williams.
We should think about a cruise sometime.
Wait, whoa. Nolan, take a vacation?
Are you happy? I mean, you've been here 25 years now, right? Almost 26. Must have thought about making a change from time to time.
It doesn't quite tell you what it's about in the trailer.
I was gonna say, all I've seen is the poster, and he's in a car.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I know.
Yeah. Well, it's not really a spoiler, I guess, but gosh, I don't even want to talk about it.
Is it good?
I mean, okay, it's about a 60-year-old man coming out of the closet, essentially.
Okay.
So, kind of living a lie, and him going through a change. You know, becoming the person that he is meant to be. And there's a lot of good acting, a lot of dramatic moments.
I love you, Joy. That was never a lie. It's just time for us to be in the real world.
R.I.P. Robin Williams.
And a special shout out to Mark and Debbie Constantino. R-I-E-V-P. Bam, if you got that.
Maybe it's never too late to finally start living the life you really want.
I also tried watching Aloha.
Oh God, why?
The Cameron Crowe film with a 1% Rotten Tomatoes score.
Is it that bad?
I didn't watch the whole thing.
Okay. Cameron Crowe is like the weirdest filmmaker because he did all these movies that people loved, and then he's made nothing but weird nonsense that everybody hates for like the last 15 years.
Yeah.
He did Jerry Maguire, and everybody loved that movie. Yeah. I've never seen it, but... And then he did like, We Bought a Zoo.
No, you're forgetting Almost Famous.
Almost Famous,
Almost
okay,
Famous
that's true.
was a good film.
Was that after Jerry Maguire?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a big movie, and that's a good movie.
We Bought a Zoo was just like Disney Channel schmaltz. I saw that actually.
He did Elizabethtown, which from what I've heard is kind of a mess. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that Cameron Crowe.
It's weird because it's about Bradley Cooper is like a former military officer, and he's in Hawaii, and Emma Stone is there, and she's like a go-getter. And then there's like the native people of Hawaii and the U.S. military, and it all feels like it's a world that you're not familiar with. It feels like jumping into the middle of the third season of a TV show.
Okay.
You're like, boom, here. Oh, what's everybody talking about? It's like employees of a company talking shop, and you don't work there.
Well, that may be the result of, I've heard, this is, we know someone that was responsible for cutting the trailer for that film, like prior to its release. And according to that person, they were still doing like massive re-edits on the movie, like weeks before it was released. So it's like the people that made it didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So maybe that might be the result of that.
Yeah, it was very confusing as to what was happening. And I kind of understood what was happening, and then I didn't. It felt like a world you weren't introduced to properly. So I was like, whoop, done with this.
Aloha, more like Aloha.
Do you want to talk about accidental love?
Oh God, you can talk about it more than I can because I lost interest after the first 20 minutes. I was like, this is weird, this doesn't make sense. Now I'm bored.
It's a very strange movie. That's a David O. Russell film, right?
It was a David O. Russell movie that had all sorts of like financial problems. They kept losing the money for it, and then someone recently decided to finish it, and it's like the worst thing ever.
No, I enjoyed it. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington meets The Wizard of Oz, or meets Alice in Wonderland.
A little bit.
Meets John Waters, yeah.
Is it Tracy Morgan who's like, I have a prolapsed anus? Like, oh.
Tracy Morgan is really funny in it. It's very bizarre and interesting. At first it's bad, but then it kind of grows on you, like a fungus.
Okay.
I guess that's the best way to describe it.
I kind of was like half paying attention to it after a while because it started weird, where it's like it looks like a horror movie, but it's supposed to be a comedy, and then
the shooting style dramatically changes.
Yeah, and there was like because what is it, Jessica Biel?
I think so. Alba or Biel? I don't know.
No, it's Jessica Biel, but she's the one that gets the nail shot in her head, right?
Yeah.
Or is it who she's with?
No. She gets a nail in her head. She's with James Marsden. He's the military officer, and then they're at a restaurant, and he's like trying to fix something above their table.
Yeah.
He's going to propose to her.
Right.
It's like a social commentary on the medical healthcare system. Like
right.
She has. There's a little bit of that in there. She has this problem. It's not covered by her insurance.
If they'll cover medical costs for these weird incidents that happen. Yes. I just remember there's lots of really inappropriate, wacky music where it's like whoever took over this movie to try and like re-edit it and make it a comedy was like, we got to let people know it's a comedy. Put in this Looney Tunes music.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's a huge mess, but it's bizarre enough to amuse me.
Okay.
Tracy Morgan is really good in it. I love his voice and the way he delivers comedic lines.
Oh, sure.
And
I was more interested in watching it, trying to figure out what it was originally supposed to be, because it was clearly so manipulated and changed in editing.
Yeah, that's running through.
I wonder what the original vision was.
Mm-hmm. I saw the main character, the woman Jessica Biel, as sort of your Dorothy. And all the characters around her, and she goes to the Emerald City and trying to get back home, aka get health care coverage to remove a nail in her head. I would recommend Accidental Love. It's a strange thing.
I would recommend it just on the weirdness of it, and the weird like looking at it as this like mess of a movie. But like I said, after that wore off, I kind of lost interest in it. But
together we can make things good again.
I definitely think we inspire each other.
Let me apologize for my insensitive white friends and take you to Benihana's and smooth your trauma with a sake bomb.
Well, Jay, you saw a lot of documentaries. I saw a good documentary too. It was called Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation.
Oh, yeah.
Starring Tom Cruise, Simon Pegg, and Jeremy Renner and friends. Based on true accounts of CIA operative Nathan Hunt.
Ethan Hunt. I'm sure it's got great action, right? Everyone, he talks about how much Tom Cruise does his own stunts.
Let me say this. Yes, Tom Cruise does his own stunts. There's an amazing sequence where he literally holds on to the plane. That really takes off, and they have a cable around him, of course, for safety. But he's actually on the outside of the plane, not on a green screen. Yeah. And the films I haven't seen. I don't even know if I saw the first one.
That's the only one I've ever seen, and that was because it was a Brian De Palma movie. But I've never seen any of the sequels.
Well, I saw the last one that was directed by Brad Bird. That one was excellent.
Yeah.
This one was very good. They have this kind of tongue-in-cheek tone to them. It's not as serious as like a Bourne Identity or
Right. They're meant to be fun.
The Bond movies. They're serious enough to where you could take it seriously, but it's still kind of fun.
Right.
And
well, I saw in the trailer Simon Pegg does his best Troll 2 impression.
Open that door! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Let me ask you this though about the Mission Impossible movies: does Ethan Hunt have a character? Is he a character or is he just Tom Cruise action man? Okay. I'm always curious.
I think they did a thing in the last one, like with his wife or something. He had to tell her he was dead, and really he wasn't. He's going rogue or incognito or something. But yeah, he really doesn't. He's action man. Everyone else does though, to a certain degree. But this last one was too who are you working for? Like, are you working for them? No, I'm working for them. Oh, sure. It kind of had that a little too much.
That's the impression I have of all those movies. I haven't seen them, but I feel like everyone is like, our organization is disbanding because we don't know who to trust. I feel like that's all of them.
Yeah, but it's a framework for really well done, clever action sequences and some fun banter.
Yeah.
So that was a good one.
Well, I saw a film called Backcountry, which is a back country, not bat country.
It sounds fucking boring. Is it about farming?
No, it's about a bear attack. Not to be confused with another movie about a bear attack, Into the Grizzly Maze, starring James Marsden.
That was on my must-see list.
See, I haven't seen that film. It looks like schlock.
Marcus! Marcus!
But Backcountry is the most simple thing ever. It's a couple goes camping in the woods and gets attacked by a bear. Could not be a simpler premise, but I really liked it because of that simplicity. It's very like just watching this couple, getting to know them, understanding their relationship and the dynamic between the two of them, and then how they react when a bear attacks their fucking tent, and it's fucking horrifying.
What's the rule of how to survive a bear attack, Jay?
What is I don't know.
You don't gotta be faster than the bear. You just gotta be faster than your friend.
Well, okay.
Or I guess your wife in the case of this film.
I was gonna say, that applies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, I can see some people being bored because it is a lot of, not a documentary feel, almost like a home movie feel. Like, it's not a found footage thing, but just, lingering on these people and watching their, going out and camping. It's very slow and methodical. But for me, that worked because it made, when the bear shows up, it's more sudden. It's more like it would be in real life.
So what you're saying is they ripped off Jaws.
No, they didn't rip off Jaws because Jaws has more of a plot. This is two people go camping and get attacked by a bear. It's the simplest thing ever, but that's what made it work for me, is that simplicity.
So what you're saying is they ripped off that movie where a guy got eaten by a bear.
What, Grizzly Man?
Yeah.
No, well, Grizzly Man, that's a completely different story. That's a fascinating character study.
That's a real found footage movie.
That's the story of a fucking lunatic. I think the title of Grizzly Man should have been They're Bears, You Fucking Moron. That would have been a better title.
I saw another film in the theater, starred the guy who was in Arrested Development, who's the brother of Justine Bateman. I can't even think of his name. Rick
Jason
Baker? Oh no, he makes monster masks.
Yeah, well, he retired.
Bela Lugosi?
Jason Bateman?
Jason Bateman, that's it. Whenever I think of Jason Bateman, I think of Bela Lugosi wearing a mask made by Rick Baker.
None of that makes any sense.
But Jason Bateman is in a film called The Gift. The Gift is
I heard the trailer was misleading. I heard it's not what you would expect.
Well, No, that's not true.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess the guy who plays the creeper guy in it is the writer and director.
Okay.
And Jason Bateman I think he moves to California with his wife, and then the guy shows up, and he's a kid from his past, but he's a guy from his past, but they don't mention that up front.
Okay.
They do actually. He's like, oh yeah, I kind of remember you. We went to high school, right? And it's one of those things, and then it becomes kind of a thriller where it seems like the guy's a stalker and he's going to get creepy, but there's something more to it. Jason Bateman's hiding something. The wife starts looking into it. Blah 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 blah, and then it kind of becomes twists and turns a little, back and forth. Jason Bateman's kind of portrayed as the bad guy then, and then the other guy is, and then it goes back and forth, and then it ends.
Is that a recommendation?
Gordo! What does bygones be bygones mean?
It's over!
Simon has a full file on him. You think he's been lying to you? Just tell me what happened.
It's 25 years ago.
I have no idea who you really are.
Simon says, new house. Simon says.
It kind of takes it a little too far at the end. It's trying to be 7. So his wife gets her head cut off and put in a box.
Oh, okay.
But there is a scene, what's in the box.
There's a what's in the box scene? Does Brad Pitt show up just out of nowhere?
No, but there's a box, and Jason Bateman opens it and goes, oh my God.
Oh my God!
John Doe has the upper hand. John Doe has the upper hand.
That's a great movie, that's 7.
You're
that's
right.
a solid movie.
It's a solid fucking movie, but there's a scene similar to that, and then it's like, oh, okay. Good movie. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Okay.
Watch Hotel Transylvania 2, starring the Cobbler.
Mike, are there any movies that have come out this year that you haven't seen yet that you're anxious to finally check out?
Well, you mentioned Backcountry, and we talked about Into the Grizzly Maze. That was one of the films I wanted to see.
This bear is not territorial or hungry. It's pissed off. When a grizzly gets angry, all of you taste the same.
It looks terrible, and it looks hysterical at the same time, but who knows. But I also really wanted to see Boy Next Door, starring Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, sure.
Mainly
the most anticipated movie of 1992.
Yeah, because he says the famous line, I love your mom's cookies.
Do you want to take a cookie for the road?
Love your mother's cookies.
I actually did want to see that because that's like a fuck you, it's January movie that looks so trashy. Like it looked like one of those trashy movies from the 90s that they don't make anymore. I was like, it can't be that bad, can it?
There's also a film floating around on Redbox and Netflix called Playing It Cool with Chris Evans.
Okay.
And I want to watch it based on the high quality poster art alone, where it appears that they've hired the best in the business to design their movie poster. Doesn't seem like some kind of slapped together film or a film somebody found in a drawer that was never released for whatever reason, and they threw it out there, but they spared no expense in hiring the top graphic designer to make their poster. So they sold me. They sold me on the film.
That's what a poster's supposed to do.
That's what a poster's supposed to do, and by golly, they did it with that poster.
Well, I guess we should continue on our way. We're only 5,000 feet from Plinkett's house. Or maybe 10,000, I don't know.
Well, as long as we have enough extension cord, I still plan on making my documentary film. I'm gonna document our trip, just like the little girl documented their trip.
We'll make sure you bring your extension cord.
Okay.
This doesn't power without being plugged in.
Yeah, so what you're saying, Jay, is that we'll have to run an extension cord up Mount Everest.
Up Mount Everest.
Yeah.
We'll bring 2 just to be safe.
Maybe 3. Maybe we should bring 3! Remember, I brought the video camera. It's in my satchel.
It fit in there with all the booze?
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Because I'm going to videotape our adventures up Mount Everest.
Why haven't you done that yet?
Well, I did a little early on.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. We'll have to leave the coffee maker behind.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. Will you hold this?
Yes.
Okay.
If they can leave dead bodies on Mount Everest, we can leave a coffee maker.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus
I was going to complain about that.
Let's go!
Okay. Hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, hi ho ho, hi ho, silver.